Hello, everyone. Good day. It's beautiful to have you here once again, and it's always nice to have time to discuss our science concepts together. Today, we are looking at components of the cell, subcellular structures, what we refer to as organelles in our eukaryotic cells. Now, this is important that it's important that we discuss some of these structures and their functions. So, we'll just run this as a two-part series. We'll first of all look at a set of five organelles and their functions, and then we'll do a second video where we'll look at another five set of organelles. The first set of organelles that we'll look at is the plasma membrane. Now, the plasma membrane is present in a lot of eukaryotic organisms, and it's a membrane that surrounds the cell. If it is a plant cell, then outside the plasma membrane, you can have the cell wall. But if it's an animal cell, a fungal cell, many other eukaryotic cells, that cell wall, that cell membrane, which we also refer to as plasma membrane, is all they have as a covering. Now, this plasma membrane is important. It's made up of a phospholipid bilayer, and it's important for many functions. First of all, depending on the kind of cell it is. In some cells or in most cells, it is important because it serves as a barrier. It's a semi-permeable barrier. It helps the cell to regulate what goes in and comes out of the cell. So it's like having perimeter fencing. So this plasma membrane surrounds the whole of the cell, and it helps the cell to regulate what will come in and what will go out of the cell. So this is important for the cell because its life processes, it generates wastes, it wants to pass those wastes out, and then it needs nutrients, it needs other substances, and it needs to absorb these substances through that plasma membrane. So the plasma membrane serves as that barrier. We refer to it as a semi-permeable barrier or membrane. It's not totally permeable. It doesn't allow every substance to come in, but it allows what it needs to come in into the cell, and what is not necessary or what is a waste is passed out. So the plasma membrane is important. Also, in some other kinds of cells, for example, nerve cells, the plasma membrane can also serve as a communication center. So cells can communicate one cell to another using their plasma membranes. They use components within the plasma membrane to, communicate with one another. Now, depending on the kind of cell it also is, if it's an intestinal cell, it's possible that this cell membrane can be adapted to, help in digestion, help in the passing out of, in the absorption of digested material. So, because we also need to think about differentiation when we talk. We know that different cells are differentiated for different functions within either the human body, the plants, the animals. So, their plasma membranes will also look slightly different depending on the kind of differentiation that they have. Now, secondly, we talk about the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is a system of membranes. It's a system of membranes that is visible within the cell and is functional. It's there to help the cell provide surface area for many biochemical processes. So many biochemical reactions take place on this network of membranes that we call the endoplasmic reticulum. Its network of membranes, we also refer to them as cisternae. And sometimes the endoplasmic reticulum might be without any ribosomes attached to it. We say it's a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It has ribosomes attached to it, which makes it studded. We say it's a rough endoplasmic reticulum. So it serves this function of providing surface area for many different reactions to take place, and it also provides an area for ribosomes to anchor themselves and then engage in their protein synthesis, which is what ribosomes do. Then we can go to Golgi bodies or Golgi apparatus. These are also organelles that are functional within the cell, and they are there for quite a number of purposes, chief of being the packaging of proteins. And what we mean by packaging of proteins is that many times protein structures need, or many structures within the cell need, a union between proteins and polysaccharides. The Golgi apparatus are functional in providing this union, in bringing protein and polysaccharide units together to form different structures within the cell. So we say that it is involved in the storage, in the transport, and in the packaging of protein and other molecules within the cell. This is an important function of the Golgi bodies. Now, apart from the Golgi bodies, we also have the lysosomes. Lysosomes are sacs that contain enzymes, hydrolytic digestive enzymes, and they are quite important. They can also be dangerous to the cell. So the lysosomes have membranes that surround them so that their whole components are kept within that membrane and are only secreted when and as at needed. Because the lysosomes are also capable of destroying the cell. Old cells can even be destroyed by allowing the lysosome to seep into the cell, the components of the lysosome to seep into the cell. It will destroy all the components of the cell. Those are the lysosomes. We also lastly discuss about the mitochondria, which people sometimes refer to as the powerhouse of the cell. But it's important to note that the mitochondria is the center for respiration. It's the center where different pathways take place in order to generate what we refer to as ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is the currency. It is what the cell spends or expands spends as energy. So this energy is produced within the mitochondria. The mitochondria is also unique because it has a system of membranes where all these reactions get to take place. Mitochondria is also important because it has its own DNA, its own unique mitochondrial DNA, and is scattered many of it is scattered within the cell. And depending on the kind of cell it is, if it's a cell that needs a lot of energy, like muscle cells, like nerve cells, they have much more mitochondria than every other cell. So these are just five subcellular structures, five organelles within the cell. We'll do another video to discuss another five of these organelles. Thank you as you follow us. It's always beautiful having you here. Remember to like, subscribe, share our content, and have a beautiful day.